Hello, everybody. Good to have you all here today. I'm going to give another like 20 or 30 seconds to let a few people join. But happy Friday to you all. I'm really excited that you decided to spend an hour or so with me on a Friday night. I know it's been a long week for a lot of you, I'm sure. Today, we're going to talk about resume writing, which is something I'm super passionate about, as I'll dive into here shortly. Give a little bit about my background here as well in a little bit, and give away some free resources. And at the very end, I'll be giving away one of my professionally written resume writing services. So it's about a $399 value that one of you all will get for free. So I'm really excited. If you can, in the comment section, tell me your name and what agency or branch of the military you're with. I always like to know where people are from, where they're tuning in from. I'd love to see that. I'm not always the best with technology. I lead that starting off. So if something happens, just comment in as well. If the mic goes out, if something else happens, just let me know. And I will say there's a big storm coming here in Northern Virginia as well. So hopefully the power stays on and we'll be good to go. But I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen and we can get into this presentation. All right, Jason's here. Jason College of Sequoias PD in California. Great to have you here, Jason. Thank you so much for coming. It's really nice to have you. All right. All right, the screen should now be shared from the beginning. Who else we got here? Tyler. Thank you, Tyler, for being here. Really nice to have you all. All right, great, everybody. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started now. I think most people who are going to be joining us are here. If not, they can trickle in. So today we're going to be talking about resume writing. Obviously, for any transition to the private sector, whether you're coming from the military, law enforcement, other first responders, you name it, a resume is absolutely critical. Not something we use as much in law enforcement or the military, but in the private sector, it is essential. I will let you all know as well, I am giving away my Heroes Job Search Guide. So if you haven't gotten a copy of this yet, do download it. You can either get it at recruitingheroesllc.com, or if you're watching this on a computer, you can use your phone to scan the QR code. It's a free guide I made about a year ago. It comes with my resume template, which some of you already received, instructions on writing resumes, some LinkedIn tips and advice, interview tips, and a few other things. So that's yours completely for free. AJ, thank you for coming from Nevada. Awesome. I was just in Las Vegas teaching at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Basically, the extended version of the class about 2 weeks ago. So good to have you here, AJ. Tell you about myself as to why I'm the one to be in law enforcement. My name is Colin Whittington. I used to be a deputy sheriff and Loudoun County Sheriff's Office, which is the largest full service sheriff's office in Virginia, located about 40 minutes from Washington, D.C. I only served about 8 years or so, some time on patrol, community policing as the agency's PIO, and finally as the sergeant of the background and recruiting unit, which is where I fell in love with recruiting. In 2019, I was named the Deputy of the Year for the whole state of Virginia, which was pretty cool. Like many young officers, I made a decision to leave law enforcement after only a handful of years. We all know the current vacancy crisis hitting law enforcement. I was one of the victims of that crisis for sure. Industry as a recruiter, then decided to own business, which is Recruiting Heroes LLC. And what we do is we help law enforcement officers and military veterans with their career transition to the private sector. So we've now helped over 700 Leos and vets, which is unreal to even to think about. Only been around for about 2.5 years. And it's been an amazing journey. Also written two best-selling books, Beyond the Thin Blue Line and The Thinning Blue Line. I'll mention those briefly at the end as well. Eric, thank you for being here. Eric, I know we've emailed a little bit back and forth, so really nice to have you here, bud. Hopefully this will be helpful for you all. If you have any questions about resume writings or anything else throughout this process tonight, feel free to leave in the comments. Don't wait till the end. You can put in the comments, and I should hopefully see it as we go. But no reason to wait to the end. All right. So one of the big things I find for law enforcement officers as well as military veterans when they come to me for help is that many of them don't think that they have any transferable skills. They think that what they learned in law enforcement, the military, only really correlates with that type of career. And if it does correlate to anything in the private sector, it may just be security or investigations. And I want to say that's absolutely 100% false. I have now worked, like I said, 700 law enforcement officers and veterans, and the skills you all your law enforcement or military career, whether it be only a handful of, are so incredibly valuable in the private sector, like leadership. Even if you weren't a supervisor in law enforcement, you are still a first person on scene of a call. You are a leader, strong resume. Your chances of even getting to the interview are slim to none. So having a strong resume is critically important because it provides a very first impression of yourself to these companies. In person, I always ask this question to see what people would guess. You're welcome to put it in the comments if you'd like. How long do you think a recruiter spends looking at the average resume? What would you say your estimate is? I'll give you about 10 seconds to make your guess. It says I'm back, so we can see if this will work. Um, if anyone's still here, let's see if this actually does work. On my screen, it's showing that I'm back. So I'm going to go ahead and keep trying. You all are welcome to stay, of course. If not, I totally understand. If you all want to leave, I really apologize. We live in the middle of nowhere and use Starlink as our internet, which usually works great, but with the weather, sometimes it can be hit or miss. So let's try it again. But if I go back, we'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to share my screen again. All right. Got us back. Thank you. I'm really sorry, gents and ladies, anyone here. I apologize for part of our job is helping with really interesting. Sorry, everybody. So part of the job that we do at Recruiting Heroes is helping companies with their recruiting efforts as well. So I see dozens, hundreds of resumes every single day. Here are some examples of ones that I've gotten in the last week or so, and they've been pretty interesting to say the least. So these are actually two resumes, one's on the left, one's on the right. On the left, you can see that he has the job title listed, which is great. He has the location. He also has the dates of employment, which are really good. Um, he does not, however, have any kind of bullet points highlighting what exactly he did with in those positions. No achievements, no job duties, no nothing, right? So I really don't know exactly what he has done there. The gentleman or lady on the right, I forget which one it is even worse. So he or she has a job title, I suppose, whatever SQL DBA is. However, I don't know what that means. They also didn't provide me any kind of location, the company's name, dates of employment, or any kind of uh, job duties, responsibilities, or achievements. Same thing in education. They wrote they have a bachelor's degree, which is great, but bachelor's degree in what? It could be in business, it could be in gender studies. I have no idea. It could be any of those things. This person does have a skills section, which is great, but it's very, very limited, as you can see, to just two. So these are probably some of the worst examples I've seen in recent times. And these are probably candidates who are not going to be very successful getting any kind of interview besides maybe very low level types of jobs. So these are resume examples you do not want to copy. Is the audio back, everybody? I hope it is, because I'm still speaking on. So hopefully it's working again. Okay, so here is an example of a resume that I have recently done available to you all. To those who signed up for the class ahead of time, I've sent an email to you all with this resume template. Um, you can also I'll a QR code towards the end as well, where you can download it, or you're welcome to email me at any point if you like this template. Don't have to use it, but if you like it, you're welcome to use it. Okay, so I'm going to start at the very top and work my way down and just talk about some of the key elements of a resume. So, of course, the very top should be your name, right? The way I like to do it, I like to have first name, middle initial, and last name. If you have a preferred name, you're welcome to use it as well. Just make sure it's something that's professional. Don't use some drinking name that your buddies gave you in college, right? It's a professional resume, so make sure you keep it professional and the name that you actually go by. It doesn't necessarily have to be your legal name if you go by something else, but that's fine as long as it is professional. Audio is back, just occasional freezing. I do apologize, everybody. The internet's been rough today, so I'm really sorry. Okay, on the next line, this is the telling you a little bit about yourself as far as your location, your phone number, and all that kind of stuff. All right. So one of the things I see people do quite often is putting their full address on your resume. While this isn't technically wrong, I advise against it. What I like to do is just have your city and your state. This resume, you might be submitting it to dozens of jobs, and each job, it might be passed around to dozens of more people. So you're hundreds of people. And I know for myself, I have no interest. So I keep it to just the city and the state. Will 100% ask you for your address, and you can provide it give it any earlier than that. Next is your phone number. Here's a big thing. Please make sure you use your personal number if you're applying for a job in the private sector. Promotion, use the work number, that's fine. But if you're applying externally, use a private number. Make sure your voicemail is professional and make sure your voicemail is available messages. If a recruiter calls you and hears an inappropriate message, or if he a voicemail and can't because your voicemail is full, he or she probably isn't going to keep trying. They're probably going to move. I think he was applying for. But what you'd want to do is use your personal email. All right. If you're applying internally, that's fine. If you're applying externally, use a personal email like a Gmail or Yahoo, and just